Hey guys, Video Arcade Films here, and welcome to Heckin Tech Night Episode 1. And we tried streaming this about 10 minutes ago. It went horribly wrong. We're going to do this again, and hopefully I don't sound like a robot. And along with me, I have Nick has arrived.
Woohoo! Hopefully you can hear me this time. I hope. We'll see.
Please work.
I can hear myself in the chat.
Wait, does it actually work?
Yes, it is working this time.
It's
I can
working.
hear it.
It's working. Yes. Okay. Let's freaking go.
We can actually do this.
Maybe. All right. So, as we were saying first time around, oh yes, Dr. You are a mod. I finally figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is something that me and Nick have had in the works for a very long time. Time fan. But yeah.
Oh God, no.
This is definitely something that we've had in the works for a long time. I think probably about a few years now.
It's been a long time. We've talked about it quite a few times, but never really got around to it. And then now that you're starting to get into streaming a little bit, seems like a good chance to jump on it and just have us chat every now and then, and also hopefully provide some entertainment to 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, definitely. And I spent a long time getting the whole Streamlabs thing to work, and it was very infuriating seeing that like it just kind of didn't. And then we got it all figured out literally by just turning OBS off and turning it back on. That was literally the only thing we did.
That was literally it.
So yeah. All right, so I guess let's get down with our tech stories today. But before we do you have anything to say, Nick, before we get going?
Am I supposed to?
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about?
Now you have the spotlight.
Oh no. Let's go back. Wait, no, that way. There we go.
All right. So, among the stories that we have today, we have talking about helicopters on Mars. We got something about a nuclear-powered rocket. We got Apple's Airtags and LTT's verified actual gamer program, which these are all Nick's stories, so he'll be good with that. And I'll be talking about the end of LG as a smartphone maker, a preview for the Sony Xperia I Mark III and the Xperia V Mark III, talking about Linus Tech Tips videos on right to repair, Tidal and their problems with the MQA streaming platform and the file. And at the end, just for fun, we're gonna do a live reaction to the Verge's famous 2018 PC build guide, which was renowned for being terrible.
Yeah, it's going to be something that I've seen once, and I still have a little bit of nightmares about, to be honest. It's kind of scary. So, it's going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah,
hopefully
definitely.
Get some live reactions too.
So I'm going to go for the Sony Xperia I Mark III first, and we'll bring up the browser here. And the browser's not showing up. That's good. Let's go ahead and make it so it shows up here. Wabam. Sweet.
Perfect.
Right. So as you can see, for the Sony Xperia I Mark III, this was revealed, I'd say about like week or 2 ago, and I desperately want this phone, like totally. And let's go through some of these stats here. They've had on the Sony Xperia Mark I, or I cannot get this name right. Like in theory, it's not a bad name for a phone because like something Mark III, but like when you're definitely streaming first time, it isn't exactly going very well.
Yeah, I don't know why. To be honest, it's kind of a tongue twister.
It's not a bad name though. I mean, like a name is necessarily something that like it's not like it should.
It needs more X's. Let's be honest here. It needs more X's.
And I think my microphone cable is tangled around my leg. Give me a second. Okay, there we
Oh
go.
God.
There we go. But yeah, with this here, it's gonna have the same sort of 4K 21 by 9 screen on the phone, but this time around it's gonna be 120 hertz, which
That is
is
something that has really been lacking in a lot of phones.
you're talking
It's
about the high refresh rate.
the high refresh rate.
I definitely don't think it's 100% necessary, but it's a nice like feature to have, and I'm actually like really excited for this though, because like, all the normie tech reviewers were just like, oh my god, it's only 60 hertz, man. 60 hertz, it
Yeah.
hurts my eyes.
Yeah. To be honest, it's like I have a 120 hertz monitor right now, and when I go use my phone, I can tell the difference. It is a
Yeah.
difference that I think, especially on a small mobile device, it would make it more enjoyable just to the fluidity of the phone itself.
Yeah,
But
like the fluidity and all that. More
yeah.
like 60 hertz. Yeah, I'll tell you what. But but basically like when you're talking about like between like 60 hertz and 120 hertz, like I'm sure if you show that to like a normal person, like yeah, that's gonna be cool to see like how smooth it is, but like
The hidden battery life is really not going to be.
it's a lot better than it used to be, especially since this Xperia 1 Mark III is gonna be it has a 4500 milliamp hour battery, which means it's gonna last a while. It's pretty big.
Wow. Okay.
A lot of people are kind of giving Sony flack still for the 4K screen, and what they don't realize is that like it's literally just a little bit more than like the 1440p screens that they claim are perfect on phones. You know what I mean? Because like if you take this right here, right, it's gonna be like 1440p by like 3040 on top, right? For
Yeah.
the Sony Xperia, it's 3840, which is your 4K like width here, and then it's gonna be I think like 1644 for the width. So it's just a little bit more. So honestly, I don't see what the hubbub is about because it's like not too much different to be honest.
Yeah. And plus, it's more screen there also to
Yeah,
work with.
definitely. And the
So
thing that I like about it is that this is my current phone. This is the LG G8, and I like how it's a little bit smaller than like most phones. I can fit it in one hand really well. And if you look at like phone measurements of like the Sony Xperias, it's the same width just about, but just a tad bit taller right here.
okay.
So like it's gonna be perfect for me at least.
So for a majority of people that don't have gigantic hands like I do, is I'm running a Note 9 and this is small for me. So
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
yeah, for a majority of people, I think it's going to be a really good phone that I
Yeah,
don't.
it's and if you look at this here, it's gonna have a triple camera set up with like an extra like time of flight sensor, and they have the Alpha team for the Sony Alpha cameras working along with Sony on like the cameras, so they kind of have like a more like synchronized experience, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And they had that first with the Sony Xperia Mark II, but with the Mark III, it definitely like it's basically doing it again, but like hopefully better. With the Mark II, we definitely had like some scary good autofocus performance, and and here's the cool thing about the new Mark III here. You have your 16 millimeter ultra wide, which is your big super wide camera. Then you have your
Yep.
24 millimeter regular camera. Now here's the part that's a world's first. Do you see how you have two different focal lengths for this one lens?
Wait.
So as you can see with the telephoto lens on this camera, uh,
How
it's
does?
first of all it's a periscope telephoto lens, right? So what
Okay.
it is that like it has like the mirrors horizontally on the phone rather than all vertically, so it kind of has more room to have zoom, and then it reflects with a prism, as you can
Yeah.
see. Now here's the world's first with the Sony Xperia Mark III. This lens element can change between two different values, which means it can kind of zoom between 3 times and 4.4 times about.
So how is it doing that?
So
physically changing the distance of the lens?
yes, and let me see if I can try and figure
So
out
it
where
has
it
a
is here.
servo inside the phone?
Like, I think it has like a particular like piece that like moves this back and forth like in two different places. Now you can't exactly zoomed. Doctor, you're already banning people. What the heck? He just banned my dad.
He fixed it. It's fine.
But as you can see here, you have it like moving back and forth between two different positions, but you can't go like in between. So like if you're zooming to like 3.5, it'll do digital zoom, and then it'll like, it's basically having two different telephoto cameras in one. And I think that's really cool. I like being like, if I love taking photos on my phone camera, and like I've always wanted to have like a good like regular camera, but like, I mean, nothing can beat the convenience of a phone.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And just the one thing that I've always wanted is better zoom, and I'll finally have better zoom if I get this thing. So
yeah, especially because it has 12 megapixel with that zoom. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of other cameras are going for like bigger sensor sizes and more megapixels than other cameras, but they're sticking with all 12 megapixels here for all three cameras.
Like Samsung kind of did that. Like they way back they went on like a megapixel trend, and then like right after like the Note 9, Note 10 era, they kind of dropped off of it and started saying more lenses, more things like that. And then after that, they're finally starting to pick up on the megapixel trend again. Now they're up to like 30, 60 megapixel phones. And it's like,
what are you talking
what are
about,
you doing
Nick?
with this?
Nick, one of their phones is a 108 megapixel sensor. I'm being serious.
Why? There's no way you can ever get enough light in that phone to make that sensor worth anything.
Yeah, and what they're trying to do is kind of artificially get more light. So specifically with like, you know, if you have like a 108 megapixel image, and you take take like a 9x9 pixel array of like that picture, and then you subsample it down to 1 pixel, you'll get a 12 megapixel image, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what they're doing. They're doing like pixel bending to try and like average the best values out of each 9x9 square, and that's how they're doing it. But the thing is,
you could just get a better 12 megapixels,
or just get better optics, get a better lens. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I like with Sony and what they're doing here. They're just kind of focusing on having really good lenses, and then just like, yeah, 12 is fine. Also, they're going to be able to do 4K 120 on this camera, and I think that's cool.
4K wow, that has really fast storage then.
Yeah, definitely.
Or it has a lot of RAM. It either maybe it has a limited time on how long it can.
That and the new Snapdragon processors are getting crazy.
Are they finally starting to pick up? Because the Snapdragon processors stalled out for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get much faster. They just added more accessories and different features, but they're finally starting to get faster again.
Yeah, and also to please my inner Windows Phone fan, there is a dedicated shutter button. So I have that.
Oh wow! Yeah, you definitely are missing that.
Let's see what else we got here. Here's the cool thing about it. Look at that. No notch. No notch.
Oh, okay. Now this is almost like you're in the territory to where you're making me thinking about getting this phone. That's how scary this is.
It's a cool freaking phone. Like, I am excited. Like, and I was a big fan of the Mark II when it came out. And
does it have a 3.5 mil?
Well, here you go. Where is it? Where is it? There's the. See, look at it. It's got a jack. It's got a jack.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So okay, this is getting really okay. This could be my next phone now as well.
It looks like we're getting the same phone, Nick. Now there is a slightly smaller one. That's the Sony Xperia Mark III, which basically has all the same stuff except for the time of flight sensor, and it's slightly smaller. And it doesn't have a 4K screen; it has a 1080p screen. But like when you're at that size, you're not really going to see a difference.
Yeah.
Personally. Let me see. Is there anything else going on here? Now, personally, this DSEE Ultimate, where it's just like trying to upscale the music. I do own a pair of the Sony like wireless earbuds that have the same feature, and it doesn't sound good. just leave it off. I don't like it personally. Like it sounded like it was slightly bit crushing, like all of the treble frequencies to make it sound better, and it just wasn't.
I mean, that makes sense. It's like,
yeah, Dr. You what? I did see the view count on my last Left 4 Dead 2 stream. There were 13 people on it. Like, for a good majority of the stream. It was like...
We're somehow on 6 right now.
Somehow 7 people are watching this. I don't know how that's happening.
7. And we're just rambling about random stuff.
Like, anybody who's on here, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I was surprised that I was able to... Oh, after stream views? Like, apparently, on my video of the stream of my last stream, it's at like 150 views for some reason.
What?
And it's been like that ever since I stopped streaming, and I don't know why.
It must have went on, like, a Left 4 Dead, like, recommended page or something.
Well, good. That was a good stream.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Also, you get 3 months of title free with the Xperia 1 Mark III, but as we'll explain later, we'll let you know if maybe that's not a good idea, but stay tuned.
Yes. Actually, that could be a good transition.
1 second. Before we go into that, one thing that Sony's been really good about is their manual modes for everything. They have a Cinema Pro like video manual app and also a manual photo app here too, and I'm excited. Sweet. So yeah, I'm hoping that this comes at a reasonable price. You even got me
interested in this phone.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's not an easy task. So
like this is like the perfect phone for me, and I'm excited. But tech reviewers are gonna find a way to trash it, which is what we'll get into next time when we get to the LG story. But as we were saying, we will go into the title story here. And I think that's it about the Sony Xperia 1 Mark III. Yeah, I'm incredibly excited for this phone. I don't think there's any price yet, and you can't even pre-order it yet. But I mean, I guess there's only one criticism I have of Sony here is that like they're not exactly being incredibly clear about like, this is the price. This is what this does. Like they're kind of like half in unveiling the phone, and they're not exactly like, saying anything else. They're not even giving us a price. And like when you're doing like a launch event, you got to strike while the iron's hot, not like do an event and then like 5 months
they're
later,
making a lot of claims here. So
yeah.
We'll have to see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of claims on this phone. So if they're going to be able to pull it off exactly the way it is, and if it's Sony, they typically have better priced phones.
I will say though, they definitely try to go for a premium market here first, with the Xperia line. When the Mark II came out, it was originally $1,200. So it's a bit steep, but like
so this could be a $1,200 or $1,500 phone when it.
Let's hope it at least stays at the same price. So like a year down the line, it becomes affordable.
Yeah,
because like true. I'm not going to be able to get this at launch. This is like $1 million compared to what I'm willing to spend here. But
I mean, it's making the Note 9 sound expensive, which is crazy because that thing launched for $1,000.
Yeah, but if you look at it, the phone market makes $1,000 phone purchases seem like they're normal now. So like,
yeah, it's crazy how much it has changed.
And like another thing we'll get into with the LG story here is that like, when it comes to like, your mid-ranger phones, they have everything anyone who would normally want anything in a phone right there for like $400, $500.
Nokia time.
Nokia time. Actually, Nokia actually makes some really good Android phones. I'm not even joking. Like, their build quality is actually really good. $100 phone.
Oh, God.
Personally, I think you'd probably be able to get an LG Stylo 6 for about $100 on eBay. I'm not even sure. Let's actually check ebay.com. LG Stylo 6. Okay, maybe not 100, but you can get a brand new one for like 175. This is a great phone for budget tiers. Period. Like, this is actually really
if you need
good.
a phone that just works, that would definitely suffice.
Yeah, those are words, all right. You're definitely right about that.
It's not top tier, but it would definitely do what
most people can get by with a Pixel 4a or like a iPhone SE that's like $400 and be completely fine. Like,
yeah,
if you're paying more for a phone, you're looking for a specific feature. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking for something to kind of push your phone like somewhere. Like, I bought this phone here, the LG G8, which originally came out for like $750, but I got a really good eBay deal on it. Like, I looked for it for its camera performance, its manual modes, its audio tech, like, definitely, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's like going back to when I got the Note 9. It's just a general purpose phone. And the reason why they get so expensive is you start wanting multiple things.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And I
it's
will
like, oh, I
say
want
there's a lot of stuff that's overpriced in the phone market, like right now,
yeah.
but yeah. Also, I have no money DX in the chat. Fun fact, if you use a VPN, Twitch won't let you chat in the chat. Do a tech podcast about that.
I think we just said it. So there we go. It's part of our podcast now.
All right, sweet.
Perfect.
So, what do you want to go over next? What you feeling?
I am kind of curious about the LG story. I honestly haven't heard much about it. I'm kind of curious.
Okay, sweet. So, and this is a little bit of a sad story here, and there's Nick. I hit the wrong button. Say hi to Nick, everybody.
I am here.
But we are here to kind of go over a little bit of a sad story in the tech world. That LG, about a few weeks ago, decided to get out of the smartphone business. They determined that it wasn't exactly like turning as much of a profit, and it wasn't exactly like, you know, in their best interest. And definitely one good thing is that like their phones that they've released, like especially my phone, like they're still promising like updates, but they're not going to bring out any new phones. I have no money DX. Help, AT&T is banning my BlackBerry next year. What phone should I buy? Well, personally, if I were, like, since I know who you are, I would personally honestly recommend you like an old LG just to get yourself like, you know, up to speed on Android, because you've never had an Android before. Because LGs are very good for the price, especially on eBay. They're like selling for way lower than most other brands are, so it'd be a good entry point. But yeah, LG more like taking an L.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
But one thing I'll say about LG here is that like I feel like they offered something in phones that not many other phone manufacturers did, where they allowed you to actually, like, you know, take advantage of your phone fully. And they kind of like pushed a creator mindset with their phone, and I really appreciate it, you know.
They definitely filled a gap in the market that so many other phone companies are trying to go higher and higher, and then they kind of stick themselves right in the middle and gave everyone a well-rounded phone that wasn't particularly great at any one thing, but it was good at one thing or good at one
Well,
particular thing, and they could do it. They could give the people a phone that they wanted, not that
yeah.
wasn't very expensive.
And I'm definitely gonna kind of go into a mini rant here, and I feel like a lot of YouTube tech reviewers didn't give LG their credit. There's a lot of reviews where they kind of like glossed over really big features of the phone, like having manual video or having literally the best headphone jack in any phone, period. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can actually, like, as an audiophile, and I'm sure we'll talk about audiophile stuff in a future episode, but like, these are 97 dB, like 300 ohms headphones, and these power this just fine. Like, it can't power my T1s, but those are power hungry. Like, nothing can except for an amp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I was listening to them last night, and they were completely fine on my phone. And like, unless you go for like the Asus like Asus like ROG Phone 3, I think that's the only other phone with like a powerful enough amp that can do that. But like, literally, that is literally a brick. So not iPhone, so what bad apparently? I wouldn't necessarily say that iPhone is bad. iPhone is actually pretty good for a certain subset of people. Like, not saying that like they're like anything bad, but like I'm saying like, you know, like if you're a type of person that like likes the way that Apple does things, where they kind of like have it set up for you, and then you just want it to kind of just work, then an iPhone SE is a perfect recommendation for most people. Like, especially if they're already like in like, if they already have an Apple phone, it makes it like, you know, I mean, from the reviewer standpoint, a lot of people like iPhones. I definitely think for certain people an iPhone's good. You know what I mean?
It's just it's simplistic. They do everything for you. You don't have to do any other research on how to run your phone.
And that's actually good. You know what I mean? For a lot of people, if they want it to just work, then bam. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now, I mean, I'm not exactly a huge fan of how some of their iPhones are built, and like how they don't exactly let you repair their phones very well, which is something that we'll get into with the Linus right to repair things. See, all my stories are interconnected. Let's go. Let's go. But like, you know, perfect. Like, even though I'm not a fan of some of the things they do, the devices themselves, especially with the way that they're priced, like their lower options, are actually pretty good. But back to LG. So they officially announced that they would close down their mobile phone unit after years of losses, marking the end of an era for a trailblazer in the Android world. And let me bring up the browser, and that was a quote for CNN there. And I definitely am gonna be sad because and here, let me see if I can get it out real quick to kind of show myself here. I'll be right back. I'll throw it on Nick for you.
Oh God, I'm here.
Give me a second. Let me find it.
Okay. Yeah, so I haven't known too much about the LG phones other than what Sky has. So I don't have too much knowledge about really their ups and downs of their phones. I've been stuck on this Note 9 for a while due to I just don't want to upgrade because of the notch trend or the whole trend. It's like, why? And then so I haven't known too much about it, but I know LG has really filled a gap on the market, and them being gone is definitely going to create a void in the space that will probably be filled up by Samsung or some other large company that's just going to make more profit.
Which I'm hoping not, personally.
I know.
And like, as I was like reaching in here for, I was an avid Windows Phone fan. I love these things. I still think they're great to this day for certain things. Like, they didn't have the app support, and they had some stutter with like the actual OS, but like the ideas behind it were great. I loved this phone. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily buy one right now, but like, if you were willing to deal with some of the hiccups, then like, you're definitely in for a unique experience. I loved every bit of this phone beforehand. And I was with the Windows Phone, and then it died. Like, it basically kind of died off on me. Like, it was still working, but like, Windows Phone itself died. Microsoft wasn't making any more, so I went to LG, and now LG is dead. So I'm afraid that whatever next phone I go to is just gonna die off.
Please get OnePlus.
Oh no, I like OnePlus though. But cursed buyer moment. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Here. Chris Gatorade moment. But the thing is that like, especially back in 2013 and stuff, they were like one of the top 3 of smartphone. They had Apple, Samsung, and LG. LG was a big player in the market, and they definitely lost some market share after they had some problems with boot looping with the G4, and the modular design of the G5 didn't exactly get a lot of winners from many tech reviewers. But after that, they were really hammering out like getting better designs, better software. You know what I mean? Like even towards the end, LG V60, they were like having like really nice like dual screen designs with like the LG V60 with the dual screen case, and then like literally like as you can see here like the dual screen case with the LG V60. It was refined, it worked well, it looked nice, and it gave you the functionality of like that dual screen like, you know, functionality without like having a folding like screen, you know what I mean? And the thing that was great about it is that it was optional. You could either have the case and put it on for 2 screens or take it off and have a 1 screen. Like I like the modularity. And if you look at this here too, the LG Wing, which is looking to be their last phone, had this crazy like swivel T-shaped screen where like it would look like a regular screen and then the top screen would swivel out to a T. And it's some crazy engineering, and it's super cool. It's like dual screen without any of the modularity, but like it's streamlined. It's nice. I love this phone. Like the only thing that sucks about it is that it didn't have a headphone jack, but besides that, like it was a winner. And then LG was like, "Nope, we're out." And I would imagine that coronavirus has a lot of impacts on this year, and like why it's probably not fiscally, you know, like available to them for them to keep this happening. But I guess one thing that I'm kind of like, and here, do you have like anything to comment on before I
was
rant
gonna
on?
comment on the phone because that's one of the few times LG has actually fully pioneered a technology, and because they don't really pioneer the technology in the phone market too much, but this is one of the times they really got a leap ahead of some other players. And as soon
Well,
as they did it, it's kind of their last phone.
I
kind
will
of
say here, I'm going to give you a counterpoint here, Nick. The LG smartphone business has had a lot of pioneering that many phones took advantage of, but they were kind of quiet about. If you take a look at the LG, I think it was the G5 back in like 2016. I think it was 2016. Yeah. That was the phone with the first wide angle lens. You see that on every phone now.
Yeah.
The LG V40 was the first one with like 3 cameras on the back. Every phone has like 3 cameras on the back now. LG was doing this dual screen thing like 2-3 years ago. Like they've been ahead of the game on so many things, and the fact that they were like a manufacturer that kept some old ideas that were great that many smartphone manufacturers got rid of, like the V20, which was a phone in 2016 at a point where many phones didn't even have this. They still had removable batteries in their phone until 2016, and that was a feature that most people got rid of like in 2013, but it's like a power feature that many people loved, you know.
It disappeared fast.
They had the headphone jack on damn near every phone until the LG Wing. You know what I mean? And they outperformed every other headphone jack on every other company.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Now here's the part where I get a little ranty. I feel like a lot of tech reviewers did not give LG the credit it deserved. A lot of the time they always had to bring up some comparison to an iPhone or some comparison to a Galaxy where like the LG was either just as good or in argument better. You know what I mean? And they'd be like, well, it's a good phone, but it isn't a Galaxy. You know what I mean? Like the Samsung and the iPhone has that brand recognition that LG just doesn't. And one thing that's very important to point out when you're talking about tech reviewers on YouTube is they get really good metrics. whenever they talk about Apple or Samsung. There's a lot of buzz around Apple or Samsung, so they're going to get the most viewership and the most money by shouting out the Apple product or shouting out the Samsung. You know what I mean? Like, because if you like see like LG G8 versus Samsung Galaxy S10, who's the winner? Like, the S10's a hot phone at the time, so like, of course, people are going to click on it. And you know how Samsung nights are on the internet. If the Galaxy loses to anything, they're like, oh my god, a phone can lose? What? It gets bad. But like, definitely, like, and here's one very particular video. Tube.com. And let me bring it up. More. Where is it here? LG G8. Now, here's the video by Marques Brownlee, and the title of the video is LG G8 Review, Master of None. And let's just say that this was a phone that was competitively priced with the S10, and I would argue had better camera performance, had definitely better audio performance, was better built, and literally, like, had some cool cutting edge features. Like, one thing about my LG G8 that I absolutely love is that it has a secure face unlock like the iPhones do. So instead of taking like a 2D like image of your face like most like phones that do face recognition on Android do, it actually uses an infrared dot projector to kind of do a 3D map rather than it being like an image. And this is the same year that Samsung was getting a lot of like concerns because there were literally people fooling the face unlock of the S10 with literal just printed pictures of people's faces.
Yeah.
Like that's literally a thing that happened.
It's a major security risk, and LG never had those issues.
Because they took the time, put the sensors in here, and they got that working. And one thing they did get a lot of flack for is like, even though they had the time of flight and like the dot projector stuff, right? Happened to iPhone 2, didn't it? Actually, no. Since they use the same sort of dot projector method with iPhone, like unless they literally create like an actual like 3D printed version of your face, then it's not going to unlock the phone. And like this is coming from a guy who doesn't necessarily like iPhones here.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta give him credit where credit is due. So like they actually do the same 3D dot projection method that LG did with the G8. I think someone did fool an iPhone facial recognition, but they literally had to like 3D print a face.
Yeah, they had to heat it to a certain temperature and everything. Like it had to be body temperature, and it was like, okay, I think you're getting a bit extreme at that point, but I guess
but if it gets to a point where someone can print a picture of you and unlock your phone, like that should be like lawsuit.
That's
like
scary.
That's freaky.
Yeah, it is.
And the LG G8 never had this problem because they put it in here. So they had the sensor work in the front notch here. Like I know it has a notch, big sad, but at least it housed a bunch of sensors and it wasn't a bunch of dead space. So what did LG decide to do? Oh, well, let's do fancy hand stuff with it and make it so it can sense your hand, and then you can do like, is this going to work on stream? Yes, it's going to work on stream. And you can do like, random hand gestures and stuff and make it work. And like, now it's playing music on my phone without me touching. And I get it to stop. Bam. And like that was cool, and they just did it because they wanted to do it. But a lot of tech reviewers like showed it as like a main feature of the phone, like, oh, this is their new revolutionary hand feature, and oh, it doesn't work, oh man. And like literally, as you can see, like I got it down pretty well, where you kind of have to do a very specific motion and then like pull it out to a certain length, and you can get it down with some practice. It's not like a main feature you're going to do, but it's like another like it's like another way of just interacting with it. You know what I mean? Like one thing that I found useful is like, say if I'm in the shower or something and I need to change or like stop the music, change the volume, I don't have to touch my phone with my wet hands. I could just hover it over, change the volume. You know what I mean? It's actually kind of useful.
Flail your hands around in the air, and something will eventually happen, right?
And the thing is that a lot of tech reviewers kind of took it that way, where they were just like, it's not sensing my hands. Why isn't this working? It's not sensing my hands. You know. So actually, let's go ahead and take a gander at this review, if you don't mind. So now this is just going to be me dissing Marques Brownlee. You ready?
Oh no.
That is loud.
Let's hopefully not spend.
What is up, guys? HD here.
Why would you bring your phone into the shower? I didn't say bring it into the shower. There's a shelf next to my shower, and that way I don't have to, like, you know, actually, like, have my phone wet while I'm handling it.
Yeah.
All right, so
it definitely is nice because it's like if you are listening to music on a Bluetooth speaker, you can just pause it, stop it, whatever.
Sus. I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't know. Is that sus?
Sus?
By the way, those work now if you follow my Twitch account. So
anyone not
there
following,
we go.
follow button pops up on screen. Well, we got a follower.
Wait, did that like revoke your mod status?
I doubt
I want to
it.
see if you're a mod now.
You should, yeah, he's still a mod.
Okay, you're still a mod. You're good. All right, so let's take a. I love this. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Marques Brownlee review. And I'm gonna diss it, so let's go.
Okay, so the title, a little harsh, yes, but it's true. So
can you hear it? You might have to hear it through the stream.
I'm just gonna listen to it on the stream.
Okay, because you're not gonna have too much of a problem with delay.
you know the saying, jack of all trades, but master of none? That is the LG G8 Thin Q in a nutshell.
And even though saying jack of all trades and master of none necessarily isn't exactly a bad thing to say, it kind of puts it like in like a negative light if you really think about it. Where like if you're praising like an iPhone or a Samsung, you're just like, well, it's a good phone, but it ain't great. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah. 7 seconds in, this will take a while. All right, here we go. Let's just get on with it.
It's pretty decent at pretty much everything. In fact, you probably wouldn't regret getting one. But it doesn't stand out in any major way for $820 above the competition to actually give you a reason to go get one.
Hey, Marques Brownlee, I have a pretty good reason for buying the phone. It's a good phone. It doesn't have to stand out above the competition with some gimmicky feature. It can literally just be a good phone, and people will buy it. Okay. Any comment, Nick?
Thank you for killing half of the people in chat.
Marques Brownlee diss track, do it. Maybe I will.
So, yeah, a little harsh, but it's true. So you can start with the design of this phone. It's nothing special. It's familiar to a lot of people who have seen other LG or 2019 phones. It's a slab of glass with rounded corners. There's a power button in a good place, volume rocker on the other side, Google Assistant below those. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. It's just very plain, you know? Like, I hate...
This is one aspect that I actually am not going to fight with too much. I will admit that the G8 is kind of a plain looking phone, but I feel like it kind of is like a good design for people who want like a utilitarian type look. Like, one thing that I love about it is that it has like the hardware fingerprint sensor that's in the perfect place. The buttons are in the perfect places. And here's the biggest part for me here. The camera is flush with the phone. So you have no camera bump.
Yeah.
And I think that's very valuable. It's like a nice utilitarian design, but I can understand if not many people are really into that. They want something more flashy. So yep. I do understand this point.
I hate to encourage, going crazy or making weird choices just to be different in design, but I feel like maybe they need a bit of a stronger identity here. Like, if I asked you to describe an LG phone in a couple words, what even comes to mind, really, you know? So I'll say this red color, definitely pretty cool. It is also still a fingerprint magnet, though, like the other colors, which are...
I can admit to this being a fingerprint magnet, hence why I had to get a case. And since it does not have a camera bump, I will actually say it unofficially is the slipperiest phone of all time. If you do not have a case on it, it will slip off of any surface that is even like 1 degree, like, not flat.
Just slides off the table.
And I will admit that this red is really freaking cool, but like, sadly, us in America didn't get it. We just got black.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Only got one color.
Next, he will say it's the smart car of phones, it seems.
Oh, geez.
Here we go.
Gray and black, but also the cameras on the back are totally flat. So this is one of few phones that I can actually say they really have no camera bump at all. So this is one of them, which is nice, but I also think it makes it the sneaky, slipperiest phone of all time. But other than that, nothing really stands out to me. You know, it's a design, it's a smartphone. So you get a 6.1-inch display up front, and it's quite good. It's super high resolution.
I think it's a really good screen, 1440p, 6.1 inches. Like, it's nice. Oh, hello to all from AFK. Oh gosh.
Oh gosh.
Am I a reaction streamer now? I could be.
Oh, here we go.
All right, let's get everybody from AFK on here. We fight for the pie. Let's go.
Oh god, Uber's watching.
We got the pies. All right, here we go. Let's watch this review here.
1440p and plenty bright. Not the brightest, but it's viewable outdoors, and with a very average notch up at the top. And we'll talk more about why the notch is so big in a bit. But the side bezels are...
Also, I will say he's complaining about the size of the notch here, while the iPhone still has literally the biggest notch out of any phone that I've seen, except for like a Pixel 3 XL. Like, we literally have a notch on iPhones that like takes up twice the amount of space on the top. And he's complaining about this being a big notch when it's literally average size. When does the pie review start?
Ooh.
I don't know. Oh, God. Oh, OBS is getting weird. What is happening? Please don't break on me.
What did OBS? Oh, no. I see what OBS... Oh, it's fixed
okay, we fixed itself. All right, sweet. Ooh. I don't know where we'll get a pie review, but, you know, maybe on, like after a year of like Heckin Tech Night on like the year anniversary, we'll just get together and we'll just review a bunch of pies. How does that sound?
Yes. Okay. Well, after a couple, let's see. We'll make an anniversary of Heckin Tech Night. We'll do a pie reaction or something. I don't know.
Pie reaction. Let's go. Oh, we had 9 viewers. Nice. Discord treats my fast typing much better.
Yeah.
All right.
A little bit more than slim. It's kind of feeling like the Galaxy S10e or the iPhone XR as far as bezel size anyway. And then the normal stuff at the bottom is what you'd see in any other LG phone. You still have your USB-C, still your boombox speaker, still your headphone jack backed by a high-quality DAC. This phone is IP68 water.
Fun fact, I think this is the only time he actually mentions the DAC in this review. Even though I would argue it's a main point of the phone. It's just like, oh yeah,
keep
DAC.
in mind, this is the same guy that said the HD 820s is a good headphone. And for anybody that's out there that has no idea what the heck I just said, it's like
basically Sennheiser made a $1,600 like open back headphone, put a plexiglass shield over the speaker, upcharged it by about $800, and said it was a good headphone.
Yes, it was. In reality, it was probably worth like $200, and it was like $2,000. So
it does not have the tuning worth a $2,000 headphone at all. Period.
Yeah,
it is pretty bad.
It's really bad. And he goes, "Yeah, this is a great headphone."
He's the same person who says that the Audio-Technica ATH M50X is a good headphone.
Resistant. Yeah. And it still has wireless charging. Overall, the build is good. It's not really like missing anything. Although, there are 2 things to note. One, this boombox speaker it still has at the bottom, for some reason, sounds worse to me.
I will say that the iPhone has class-leading speakers, definitely, and the speakers on the LG can get kind of tinny, so it is kind of like, you know, it's like basically what I'm trying to get at is this part of the review is very positive, but like he always has it at the stinger of just like, oh, it's not good enough when you're looking at this review and it's like, I don't know, it seems pretty good to me. I mean, you had to compromise in some things, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form. And it's kind of weird.
At the top of the phone where the earpiece normally is, this phone doesn't have one. Instead, they have a speaker behind the glass called Crystal Sound.
Thanks for following, Rhino.
Thanks for following.
I keep forgetting that I have that sound on. That's great. Okay.
LED, which fires from sort of the top third of the phone.
Yeah, this particular phone does not have a speaker. It has like a little vibrator below the screen here that like vibrates the screen. And it's actually really clear. It's the clearest speaker I've ever had for phone calls, period. I think it works great. What if you wanted a cheaper phone? But he said iPhone. All right, here we go.
To my ear, sounded just like a normal phone call in terms of quality and volume.
I think the speaker's better
sort of
personally.
Hear this buzzing, like a thin rattling sound that you don't normally hear in a normal speaker. So that's the first time I've actually heard one of these replacement speakers sound a bit weird. But it's not a deal breaker for me because I don't make that many phone calls.
And I think that's a... You know, I just processed what he just said. Literally holding a phone, doing a phone review. I don't really do that many phone calls.
Oh my god.
Give me a second. Let's rewind that.
Replacement speakers sound a bit weird, but it's not a deal breaker for me because I don't make that many phone calls in the first place.
Bruh.
Wow.
Bruh.
So do you know what the difference was? Is he probably did Wi-Fi for the iPhone and then did over tower for the LG. Not even in the same league of comparison. And he goes, oh, it's perfectly fine.
Brian 8180 or 8130. Thanks for following.
Thank you, Brian.
And the bonus is it can sort of act like phone conduction and works.
I gotta turn down the volume of this thing.
Hoover's following now.
Thank you, Hoover. I appreciate it. Let me turn down this thing real quick.
Trying to get to those 50 followers mark, and I
wanted to get to 69 followers so I can do a spaghetti making stream.
Oh yeah, 69 followers. He said he was gonna make spaghetti on stream. Let's see if we can
Let's get to 69 followers, everybody. All right, let's get back to this review here.
Eighth of the phone. Okay, so the specs, ready? Snapdragon 855, 6 gigs of RAM, 128, 3500. They're fine. There's no upgraded version with like 8 gigs of RAM or something, and if you want more storage, you have...
Oh, it's a pants reveal at 50 followers and a spaghetti cooking thing at 69. Forgot about that. Thank you, Dr. Uwat. And also, fun fact, these stats for these phones is literally about top tier for what 2019 phones were. Period. Like, the RAM is about mid-tier, and the battery's about mid-tier, but, like, this is, like, flagship.
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty good, even today's standard.
Vice Admiral Nelson now following. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got 20 followers now. Damn.
Wow, we're counting them.
We're counting. There's Chris. All right, let's keep going.
I have to go with micro SD, which is kind of a bummer considering
this does have
phones
micro
with
SD
way more
expansion
internal
here too.
Storage for people who do
Yeah.
lots of things on their
iPhone
phones.
never
And the battery
really
size,
had
it's
that.
fine. It's not pushing the limits or anything. It's bigger than the Galaxy S.
Hey, I haven't shaved in 4 days. Don't diss my facial hair. I'll shave tomorrow, okay? Now, Nick, I don't know what he's got going on here.
I don't know
what any of this is. Like,
I'm just lazy.
What is that? What is that? I got the mouse all over it. What is this?
Yeah, Hoover actually has a really nice beard that he's growing. That was a while ago too. It probably looks much better even now.
I'm not trying to grow a beard, man. I'm just trying to get rid of it. Oh, dang it. Now we're on 19 followers. I think Dr. You what like shave or grow it out, coward.
I can't even grow a mustache yet. It's like it's sad.
All right. So, it does say, and one thing before we get back to Marques Brownlee, it does say in my schedule that it does say in my schedule that I'm going to do Heckin Tech Night every week. That's actually inaccurate because I can't exactly edit my schedule for. Oh, you're not Chris. Oof. What the heck, Hoover? You misled us. But
people like just dissing me. It's normal.
But as I was saying, like, that's actually inaccurate. Every other, like, the first and third Monday of the month, I'm actually going to do what's called MIDI Mondays, where I just play MIDI synthesizer music on my synthesizer for people to just kind of chill out and listen to and chat in the chat with me, and then we'll do that. It'll be kind of a chill stream, and we're going to be doing these Heckin Tech Nights every 2 weeks.
Yep.
So the next one that we will have going on, if everything works out, will be on May 10th.
Sweet.
So yeah, we're going to go back to Marques Brownlee. Nick Bad, applause.
10's battery, but it's not pushing the 4,000, 4,200 milliamp hours we see on some other big phones. So the specs are fine, and the performance through LG software has been pretty smooth and predictable, except for scrolling for some reason. So overall, I think LG skin is fine. Again, I've used that word a lot. It hasn't changed much since last year, so the settings app is still a little overwhelming. It still buries some things, but for the most part, things flow pretty smoothly. And
I think the settings app was fine when it was on Android 9, mainly because you can actually we can actually get to every setting, and it's not like, generalized for every common user. Can we get emotes at all? I don't know. We do need to get an emote somewhere.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we need to get a affiliate first.
I don't know actually, but yeah. Also, another thing I forgot to mention: every Wednesday I do game streams. And next, we need a headphone man emote. Yes, yes. Yeah. Let's bring up headphone man. Let's make him real big. Headphone man. But yeah, just letting y'all know, I do game streams every Wednesday, and next Wednesday I'm going to be doing the original Half-Life for the first time. So hope y'all enjoy that. So graphical design is my passion. Hell yeah, it is. All right, let's go back to Marques Brownlee.
And you can easily get used to it. But for some reason, the scrolling physics, especially in the app drawer, are super stuttery. And it's been a while now, and really weird for a new phone.
Fun fact, a lot of these reviewers often do these reviews on pre-release software that hasn't been finalized yet.
Yeah.
So he's looking at all these stutters, and it's just, oh, it's stuttering a little bit. And it's just like, bro, you're on pre-release software before anybody else gets this phone, which is going to be patched out and was patched out after people got it. So, like, this is literally dumb. Like, you didn't even have the phone for more than 2 weeks, maybe more than a week, when people usually live with phones for years, and you're like, oh, it's stuttering. Oh, don't get it. And NASCAR Rumble stream, that'll happen one of these days. I'm definitely excited to do that. I love that game. Sometimes 7 years. Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
I Have No Money DX is running a BlackBerry Passport right now that came out in 2014. So, yeah. People really run... Oh, hey, create my headphone man, OC. Oh, God. I don't like where this is going. Headphone girl. Oh, no. One of these days. Oh, hey, we get to 25 followers, I'll make headphone girl on stream.
Oh, no.
All right, here we go.
Phone like this to straight up stutter. So I almost feel like this is a bug since the rest of the phone is fine. But yeah, definitely got to mention that. Overall,
this
though,
on
performance,
next
just using the phone
event.
every day through LG software, it's fine. I don't want to make this just a list of reasons not to buy this phone. So some of the good stuff, or my favorite things about this phone, are on the back, and it's the 2 cameras. LG was one of the first to consistently do that ultra-wide over the years that we're just now starting to see on the backs of phones everywhere, and they still do it. The sad thing for them is it was so easy to copy that now everyone just added an ultra wide and they're now all caught up. It's not like LG mastered the ultra wide in any special way. So the cameras here are pretty fun, but they're not incredibly unique or anything. But I like the consistency of these cameras. It's a confident shooter, it's fast, the color science is pretty good, it doesn't overexpose that often.
But I mean, I'm gonna cut it off here because I'm making a lot of the same complaints about this phone review, but he's doing it in a tone where it's just like he sounds like he doesn't want to talk about this phone. And he's just like, it's fine. It's good. It's confident. And then at the end, it's not good enough. Go buy a Galaxy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. It sounds like he's just putting out the video just because someone asked him to, and he's going to make money off of it.
Now, in comparison, commenter here, the guy that owns the Sennheiser HD820 and barely mentions the quad DAC. I found that very offensive.
Yeah.
And the full saying is, jack of all trades, master of none is better than a master of one. Exactly. Like, bruh. And like a lot of people are really clowning Marques Brownlee in these comments. But like, look at the tone of like the Samsung Galaxy S10e. Like,
photos will now be digital zoom instead of switching to the telephoto camera, and that's all right.
And even just go to the
and
comments.
keeping the ultra wide camera is
so that would actually call half of it entirely.
Lieutenant Sebastian is now following. Thank you.
Woohoo!
New camera for the Samsung phones this year, and like I said in the review, it's by far the most fun. It is still a bit softer and a bit more over-processed in those photos than the main camera, definitely not as crispy, but this is something software updates will continue to improve.
Like, he sounds like excited and like, oh, software update's going to improve this wide angle camera. Oh, this is a great wide angle. Wow, this is fun to shoot on. LG G8. Yeah, it's a wide angle. It's not great. Bruh, and they're literally comparable.
Yeah,
so I guess you can.
It's.
But back to the original story of LG leaving the smartphone business. It's just kind of sad because they brought this innovation, this creativity that other smart. Oh man. We have a Creamy Seaman is now
This
following.
has been a long-awaited move.
God.
You have LG now.
Oh,
we're
man.
having a party in here, boys.
Oh god, you're making me get close to needing to make actual headphone girl on stream. This is getting spooky.
No.
Alright, so yeah, LG's leaving the smartphone business, and I'm pretty sad. Because like they brought creativity and innovation to a market that was streamlining everything and making people lose features. Like they kept these features in here of like you know, freaking SD card expansion, headphone jack, removable battery until 2016, and then like literally you have like Samsungs this year that are getting rid of micro SD card expansion, and people are just okay with these lost features. Like I can't buy a phone without a micro SD card expansion. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like why and they're going to make you pay hundreds of extra dollars just to get the same increase in storage to begin with. Like it's a ripoff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even with my Note 9, I had to put expandable storage in this. It's where I put all my videos and my photos, just because I didn't have enough storage in the actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a 256 gig expansion in there. It's like, now I'm good to go. Don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, and I'm sure we'll talk about LG more after this, but hey Nick, we'll go to one of your stories here. So which one would you like to go on about here?
Oh geez, let me I don't even remember which ones. Give me a second. I gotta check them. Which ones did I post? Let's go to. Okay, I think the helicopter on Mars. That one's in the title, so we got to go over it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Here we go. NASA has flown a helicopter on Mars, and it went brilliantly.
Yeah, it's something that was a big achievement in pretty much the history of mankind. It's the first ever thing that was Wait, is that echo? Please do not be. Anyways, it was the it was a big achievement. The reason why is it's the first thing that's ever been flown on another celestial body by the power of actual flight. It's something that was a big achievement through mankind.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
why this is so big is Mars has an atmosphere that's 1% of Earth. So it is so much less dense on Mars, and having the ability to prove that we could design something in an environment so different to our own is something that I just thought was really fascinating. And even with
Sorry, Doctor, you what? First stories about random smartphone manufacturers, later stories. This will change mankind.
it's not going to change mankind, okay? But it's
Nick
just,
bringing in the important stories.
yeah, it's a big advancement, I think, in proving that technology is advancing for all of mankind, and it's exciting seeing that we're still evolving in the space environment after all these years. So
Definitely, it's definitely a big win, and I'm very happy to see that we're actually able to like do this, and the fact that we're actually able to like do cool stuff on Mars to begin with, like, and this is like proof right here that we definitely should be funding our space program far more than we do, because when you have scientists that are able to do cool stuff like this, like, come on, like, do it for the benefit of mankind, you know what I mean? What? Human is evolving? Dropping a drone on Mars, that is serious advances. Yeah, definitely. Like, this is crazy.
It's a big thing that we've never been done before. And now that we know that we can do it and that they're going to do several more flights and gather more data, it could help with possible transportation on Mars in the future. Who knows? Maybe we can have some sort of flight or plane or something that we just don't know about.
Definitely.
Neuralink. I have not looked into that too much, so I don't know how much I could talk on it.
Definitely, if we have like suggestions and stuff to look at, we'll take a look at it and see if it's eligible for another Heckin Tech Night. So I guess tune in to see if it's there. Drones can now attack Mars.
Oh yes.
Sweet.
That could get interesting.
But yeah, I think this is actually really cool, and like it's honestly like a big leap, you know what I mean? The fact that we're able to kind of master the atmospheric dynamics of a different planet, you know what I mean? And like get something actually working, which, like, bro, humans took 1,000,000 years to get actually off the ground on Earth, and we're doing it in like a few years on Mars.
Yeah, it's
Neuralink. I think it's important, so I would love to see that next time. I'm going to leave that to you, Nick, because it seems like that'd be something you'd be a bit more knowledgeable about if you read a few Wikipedia articles.
Well, I'm going to do some actual like legitimate research into it, depending on if there's any papers or anything that are going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if there's any papers out with it, I'll read the papers.
Sweet.
Because I want to make sure I get the actual data.
Mm-hmm.
No misrepresentation or anything.
Bruh, just rush the technology live and Civ. In Civ. All right.
No.
Do you want to go down to any of your other stories, Nick, real quick?
I know you want to talk about the Apple event. We could hit Airtags.
Yeah, we'll hit Airtags. So here's the Airtag on with Apple here, and they did release a lot of new products at the Apple event. We definitely had the Airtags here. We had new iPad Pro generation. We have new Mac Minis. Not Mac Minis, new iMacs. And now you can, and here you go. You ready for the most important part of this whole entire thing right here? You ready? Let's go to iPhone. And guess what? You can get the iPhone in purple now. You can get it in purple.
I don't even think they can hear you at this point. Your limiter is just making you quiet to where they can't even hear you.
Oh god, what is happening with the GUI with OBS? I can't even see my levels on my audio here. What the heck?
It's literally maxed out. Like you're distorting pretty bad.
All right, let's put this back down. But yes, you can get an iPhone in purple now. Well, besides that, the AirTags,
Yeah.
Nick?
Yeah, AirTags. So the reason why these are kind of cool and they've ran into a lot of things is because of the Tile. Well, if you're not familiar with it, Tile is essentially the same thing as an AirTag. It allows you to locate things that you lost, or you could put your tile in your car if you want to find your car in your parking lot, etc., etc.
See if I can
And
find it here.
AirTags essentially do the same thing. And now Tile is, I'm pretty sure they're going to be suing Apple and this actual because they're saying that they're taking part of their market share. But if I remember right, Tile has like a 90% market share in this area. So
Yeah, it definitely is
my
a little bit
opinion-
weird. I'm not sure about like a lawsuit, honestly, but like, you know how Apple is. Whenever they get into a business, they're already going to become number one in market share and like immediately.
Exactly. And you know that the one thing with the AirTags is they actually use a specific frequency that on the new iPhones that they don't let Tiles use. So they can be accurate down to like inches away from the actual AirTag. Well, Apple is actually prioritizing that to where they won't allow it.
A paid settlement, probably.
Yeah, so
it could be.
That's kind of the main issue with it, is just Apple's having proprietary hardware in there that they're not allowing other companies to use. Now, in my opinion, it's the Apple atmosphere. You want it to be as secure as possible. You don't want it to be hackable. That's kind of what it's made to do. You're made to pay a little bit more, but you want to stay in that atmosphere for the security.
And also another thing, you want it to be more fashionable too. Because I mean, like, look at all these. They come out with a bunch of luxury like versions of it that are supposed to look nice and fashionable. So that's part of their brand.
I mean, those little leather pieces are like, I don't even know. They're like $20 a piece or something.
Yeah, an AirTag I think is.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the leather holders.
Oh yeah, the leather holders are pretty expensive. If you see like this Hermes partnership here, like these are expensive. Like they are like let's go to buy here. Like say I'm pretending I'm buying an AirTag here. You can get one for 30, get 4 for 100, and then you can get like the super expensive ones for like $449.
Wait. Holy crap. Are you serious? I didn't know it was that much for those. Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, definitely. And it's pretty crazy. And and the thing is Apple can just pay for this, you know what I mean? They can just like not pay for this, but they can charge this and be like completely fine, even though it's like literally just like an RFID tag. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And let's see here.
That's all I kind of had on the AirTags.
Here's the new iPad Pro, and the main thing is, here's something that's really cool. That's actually really Hermes is Hermes. What were you expecting?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no joke. But with the iPad Pro, here's the cool thing. And here's the biggest change here. Not only is they're going to replace the screen here with like mini LED backlights, so it's going to look super vibrant and super nice with like a crap ton of dimming zones. Not only that, but here's the big one. iPads have Thunderbolt.
Woohoo!
That means they're actually going to be usable for stuff.
Well, you can connect them to external monitors now, which is like...
And you could before, but like it's going to be even easier now.
Yeah, I mean, you could hook up a 4K external monitor, and you can actually use it for like all your work tasks. Like if you're let's say you had a work task where you had to take your iPad Pro, you were drawing on it, you were filming with it, something like that.
I don't know why you'd want to film with an iPad. You're like, let's see, what's something that's an iPad size? Aha, iPad size Rock Band keyboard. Let's start filming.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't matter. Let's just say it's part of your workflow for some reason, right?
Yeah.
You could go over, throw it on your dock at Thunderbolt. Bam, your keyboard's connected, you have a mouse connected, and then you have a monitor connected. You could edit it on the same iPad, and then you could use it as a training video for something or whatever.
All right, left in is Sebastian. Peace out, guys. Later, take care. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
But here's the best part about this iPad here is that like I think this is the first iPad that's actually going to be enough to call it a computer. I think now's the time. I think like iPad has been trying to be a computer replacement this whole time. I think Thunderbolt was the last step. I think they're there now.
I honestly think it's a full-blown computer now.
And like literally I've seen like stuff where like they can actually like attach it to like the super expensive like super like Apple Pro XDR display that's like 6K with like no problems. And like use it as a second monitor. Like I think that's going to be cool.
Crazy.
So this is definitely the most exciting part for the whole thing here, and it's powered by their Apple M1 silicon. So they're switching over to their own stuff for everything now, and it's an ARM processor, so hopefully it'll go well. And here's the last thing here: they have the brand new iMacs, which are basically, yeah, it's pretty good. I've loved the iPad Pro ever since they came out with the 2018 refresh, and I think it's one of Apple's best products. Period. And here's this. Here you have the new iMac. Starts at $12.99 and basically is a huge ass iPad on a stand.
It's exactly what it is, though. It just doesn't have touchscreen. But
yeah, but like it's huge. Comes in a crap ton of colors, and it'll just be interesting.
Going to be the family iMac, though.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
gonna be something that anyone in the family you could get, and it would just work for the whole family for video conferencing because it has a good camera. Yeah, well, in theory, we'll see after it actually.
The new Macs I don't like. I think it's definitely. I'm not sure if I like it either, but then again, you kind of get used to the old design because it's been around for 14 years up until now. But you know,
yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to be that thin. Is kind of the issue. They could have made it just a little bit thicker and then got rid of the bezel on the bottom and made that all screen.
And one thing that's notorious about a lot of Apple products is that they don't like necessarily cooling their CPUs and stuff adequately, and they have a lot of overheating problems.
That's the issue. Is they're no longer running Intel. They're no longer running x86. They're running M1 now.
Yeah.
That chip is so easy to cool.
You are right about that.
Barely anything to it. I mean, you could just put one heat pipe on it, and the thing's just like, I'm good now. It's like, what? You have a TDP of like 15 watts, and you're outperforming an Intel chip at 300 watts. How the hell is this happening?
And the thing about these new iMacs running the M1 chip, and the new iPads running them, the new MacBooks running them. And here's going to be the big thing here, and why OBS. I was literally about to switch the scene, and you just kind of disappeared everything on me. Come on.
What's happening with your OBS?
There it is. See, here's the big thing with the new Apple products in this, is I think it's marking a shift in the computer market for most consumers. We are getting past the point where people need specific like x86 like programs. A lot of stuff is just browser based now. You know what I mean? And like you don't need like legacy programs for most of your work anymore. You just get it through apps and get it through browsers, and that's the future of computers. Like these old Windows machines, like being able to run these old programs is going to be great for like enthusiasts like us and people who need it for like bigger, more creative work. But for the most average consumers, like this is going to be the way of the future. Like, and I think Apple's pretty smart for going for it first. Now, and one thing it really brings up too is that Android and phones have been running these ARM processors for long periods of time, and there's a lot of unlocked potential in phone processing that people don't even use. Hence the reason why earlier I said people are usually good for with a mid-tier phone, because like they're not using all that processing power. You know what I mean? Like I was able to video edit, like, you know, this video here that was playing at the beginning of the stream with like me and Nick and the PC video, which I'm going to bring up for like 3 seconds here. Like that background video there, that was edited on this phone in 4K 30 and rendered on this phone faster than my desktop PC ever could.
Yep.
And that's crazy. Like, not many people need that unless they're creating videos on their phone. So like mid-tier phones are like good for most general people. Like Emmy Cakes, who's in the chat right now, putting like they think this is a raccoon emoji or whatever. I have no clue. But
I can't even tell, to be honest. It won't let me tell. It won't tell me when I hover over it.
But like literally, like I recommended them a Pixel 4a, and as far as I know, they've been loving it.
Yep.
Like it's the mid-tier smartphones are what most people should be going towards, because we already have so much like processing power that, you know, it's crazy, you know?
I see ARM being the future of 99% of computers, for pretty much just most people. I mean, for the most part, most people don't even run x86 or x64 processes on their computer. So it's like,
and if they are, they're weird nerds like us that aren't going to be using like main programs.
Well, it's like most gaming programs right now. If you're running DirectX 11, DirectX 12, all that stuff, that's still running on x86.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, but once that's going to eventually go away because it's just inefficient.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just keep it there. So if once you go to ARM, you have the efficiency of all those different cores, and it's just more efficient of a process. You don't have the overhead x86 does. So
yeah, and I think Rhino, he just said in the chat, like the Pixel series has been really good from my experience, and I would say yes, the Pixel series has been good. I will say the first 2 Pixels in the line, Pixel 1 and 2, had some hardware issues that needed to be kinked out, but like it definitely it's really good, you know, in my opinion. And also Emmy Cakes in the chat, this is my first Pixel. I normally go for Galaxies. And I think it's very important to kind of explore these other alternative brands, because like you might be able to find something that's more fitting to your experience, to what you need. So yeah. So there's my little rant about ARM being the future. Is there anything else about the Apple vent that we have here?
I don't have anything unless somebody else has something else they would like us to talk about.
Okay, well, I think this is the time to bring in the one, the only certified gamer for gamer moments. So, Dr. Uwat, who is on the stream, go ahead and join our little Discord chat here, and we will get you on for your extreme gamer news.
He is here, the certified gamer.
Sweet. How are you, certified gamer? If you're here. Nope, his mic probably isn't working now. Technical difficulties in the stream. It's so bad. Why? Do I have you like deafened or something, or are you muted? I guess.
I guess I'm just muted.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Turn down your volume. You're like 200% in mine.
Yeah, every single time you pick up your mic, it distorts the crap out of it.
Oh yeah, that was on purpose.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm about to host Gamer Moments, the most biased news source in gaming.
Yep, and we do not have a webcam for Certified Gamer, so you're just going to have to look at our faces while we bring up the article that he's talking about. So
I'm just doing it about games I care about, so if you don't agree, why are you... I mean, I can't really do anything about it.
Here, let me bring up your thing here. Let's copy.
Anyway, my audio is it being good right now?
Yeah, it should be going off into the stream. Let me double check here.
Audio
Yep, it's working. You probably heard me test it out on stream.
Okay.
But let me bring that up and then click on OBS, click on the browser, go over here, and then bam. Okay, and it looks like Certified Gamer Dr. You What has some pretty cool Ace Attorney news for us.
Yes, actually, after a few years of begging from Capcom, we're actually finally getting our localization of the great Ace Attorney games, the prequels in the series in a way. It's like set 200 or so, actually 100 years in the past, basically between Japan and Britain, normal Ace Attorney stuff. That's pretty fire.
Yeah.
And what's different about this and the modern Ace Attorney games is that it's run by the original director and writer, so it's probably a lot better. I haven't played it myself yet. I can't wait. Anyway, that's pretty much. If you want me to say anything else, do you want me to?
Just any
How
questions?
long is this gonna take to come over?
Like, how long
What?
is it gonna take until it gets localized? Like,
It's coming July or so, 2021.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
On Nintendo, PlayStation 4, and Steam.
Oh, so we are getting a Steam release.
Yes, so you can actually buy it.
I think finally, since they were like, yo, we finally have a market because the trilogy did so well on stream. Or Steam. Not stream.
Wow, I didn't know it did so well on stream. Also, there's a few pre-order bonuses, which is just like artwork and stuff. Also, if you don't feel like playing the game, you can just have it play for you.
Nice. Sounds like the type of gaming experience I want. Just let it do its thing.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing on RBI4 on the Genesis. Just let it play itself.
I mean,
the worst ending every time, and you're like, "Why? What's happening?"
And don't you love it when Sherlock Holmes gets translated into Herlock Sholmes as based on an old joke the community used to do?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Perfect.
So is that all for gamer moments from Dr. You What?
I mean, yeah, that's the only notable news that I'm biased towards, so...
Anything else you got going
on? Unless you want to talk about Hearts of Iron 4 updates, then I'm out of here.
I mean, hey, if you have a few minutes for Hearts of Iron 4, I think we got a couple people in the chat who would love to hear some things about Hearts of Iron 4 updates.
Hoover immediately joins back in.
Wait, seriously?
Is there like a page I can bring up for it? Hearts...
Oh wait, you don't own the game, so you can't bring up the Steam notices we always get.
If I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
I mean, actually, I think it should be in your library on Steam because I downloaded it on that PC once.
Here, I'm just going to show the Hearts of Iron 4 website while you're talking about it.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's good enough.
Well, in the new Hearts of Iron 4 DLC pack that has been announced, it will focus finally on the Eastern Front of World War II. So updated Poland and Russian focus trees are some of the main focus points.
No way!
Yeah, actually.
Wow!
Finally, after so long. Don't worry, we still don't have any We still don't have any confirmation on Italy if they're actually getting a focus tree that can work.
Please,
but
Italy.
We're hoping. Poland has already got a lot going towards it right now. Soviet packs. So much. You can reunite Poland and Lithuania if you want. Much easier. You can control a peasants' uprising. All the great. You can form the Morgues pact between France and yourself, stealing the French away from Britain. It's great. You can create an entire faction or empire stretching from the Baltic Sea all the way to the powder keg down south.
So what's going to end up probably happening is we're going to end up buying Hearts of Iron for Sky here, and then we're going to end up having a giant night where we.
Honestly, I would love that.
I just love the game Google Maps. Let's go.
Google Maps, but with people dying.
That's the perfect thing that you could ever say.
One of my doors just shut, and I don't know how. Spooky.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Also, if
We
you
already
want,
have the Discord roll all nice and warmed up for you, mate. Oh, man.
a lot of industrial focuses that actually improve the gameplay of Poland for once. They also have an unannounced second expansion pack in the works, so I hope that they finally do something with Italy.
Just be purely based around Italy, just the entire thing.
Honestly, like Ethiopia, Italy having their own focus trees.
If Ethiopia gets its own focus tree, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's literally one of the most.
They just automatically get Italy. That would be awesome.
Just like the one focus where I think it's Manchuria can literally puppet Japan.
Oh yeah, it's just automatic. You just get Japan. Like, seems a bit OP to me, but
It's just a bit. But hey, you don't have to suffer at zero stability for years for nothing.
That's true. Or negative political power, because yeah. Anyways, I think that's enough Hearts of Iron 4 talk.
Fun fact: I have no idea what's going on. Okay.
Titanfall 2 recently received a sale, so it's actually gotten into the top sellers of Steam again.
Nice.
That's another thing.
Sweet. No, I don't think any of us have.
Sorry, I do not know what that game is. I told you this is the most biased gaming show on the internet.
Yeah, this is only biased news. Sorry.
Well, the bias is roam free.
Oh, yeah, Ace Combat 7, another 3-playing DLC pack was announced a while back, and it will be coming soon, probably next month or so, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Funny playing game.
Funny playing.
I think that's everything I wanted to talk about.
Sweet. So I guess we'll see you next time in 2 weeks when you got any cool gaming news.
Yeah, don't worry. You'll never get rid of me on these streams.
He will always be there.
We will always have biased news about games.
Okay.
And thanks to Dr. Uwad for joining us for Heckin Tech Night for Gamer Moments. And
I'll be back in 2 weeks to get even more biased. Don't worry, eventually we'll be starting to say no memes and hashtag general. Then, good night.
Oh, God.
Okay, then.
All right. So we have some other stories here. What would you like to go over next?
I think you have a couple good ones in there still, don't you?
I do, and I think you have two. You have two more good ones also.
Do I? Are they good? I can't tell.
Something about a nuclear-powered rocket, and something about the gamer program.
Yes. The nuclear. Yeah, we can touch on the nuclear-powered rocket real quick, just because people might find that interesting. Just because it has the word nuclear in it, I mean.
Ooh, nuclear bad.
Nuclear bad. Okay.
All right, Nick. What have we got with this nuclear-powered rocket?
Essentially, they have figured out, finally, a way to create a nuclear uranium pellet. Well, it's not completely uranium, but a radioactive isotope pellet inside of a reactor that doesn't melt at really high temperatures. So what it's able to do is sit inside of the reactor at ridiculously high temperatures, and it provides more thrust. Well, this is for space travel. You can't really launch from like from the ground with this. That pretty much would just never happen. But you would get this engine into space, and then you would have a tank of gas that you would have inside of there. And then rather than burning the chemical fuel out of a rocket like you normally would, this would take the gas, put it through the reactor, and it would heat it up to such a give it enough energy that would actually produce twice the amount of thrust per unit weight that that a chemical rocket would.
Hmm. Interesting.
So it would essentially allow, because of the time, the velocity would be twice, right?
Mhm.
And due to space travel, the way that works, because your velocity would be twice, you would technically get to your place not half the time, because it's acceleration, it'd be a quarter of the time. So imagine, rather than getting to Mars in 11 months, you get there in 3 months.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference, and this is something that um actually could be a really big deciding factor in how fast we're able to get people to Mars on the long term of human history.
Yeah, the
So,
only thing that sucks about it though is that we're not able to actually like launch it from here, that we still have to use normal common practice methods to get it up to space.
yeah.
And that's the only like downside to it, but like I can understand why.
Yeah. Another big advantage, like another reason for that though, is you could put it inside of a capsule. And if something does happen with the rocket, you could have the reactor protected enough that you wouldn't hurt the surrounding environment with radioactive isotopes. So,
Because you know, nuclear bad.
yeah, radiation tends to not be the best thing to get around all over the place.
Oh crap, wait a minute. Give me a second. One thing. Speaking of radiation, isn't today the 35th anniversary of the Chernobyl accident?
Is it seriously?
Wait a minute.
If it is, I'm gonna die laughing. I swear.
Yeah, it was. Nice planning there, Nick.
Oh, this is gonna go down in flames.
Nuclear flame. Bad.
Ah.
Oh, man. So, I think we're going to start to narrow it down to one last story here.
Yeah, let's do one last story.
And then we're going to look at the Verge's terrible PC build to end it off with a laugh.
Yep. We'll just play it straight through.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably pause it just a little bit just for like
quick
one-liners, but yeah. I think we should talk about the verified actual gamer program.
Yes, this is something that there's probably a few of you in chat that have not heard of. So this is something that is really, really cool.
Yeah, and it's part of Linus Tech Tips thing, right?
Yes. So essentially, a big YouTuber, Linus Tech Tips, is doing this thing called Actual Gamer Program, which verified actual gamer. But essentially, what he does is he allows people through a very rigorous practice to what no AI is able to figure out. So rather than a AI going in, checking all the boxes, and just getting the GPUs that are currently not available, or even pretty sure he's only doing GPUs right now. I don't think he's done any CPUs.
I think it's GPUs right now.
Yeah. But so what he's doing, he's giving people that are actual gamers, not miners, not people AI. I know, so you just put up on screen now.
And this is Linus.
He's allowing people that actually want GPUs to get them. And
yes, because of his Linus Media Group company, he's actually able to be in touch with a lot of manufacturers, and part of their stock that's being saved for pre-built PCs, because they're pretty much the only people who are getting these new graphics cards right now. He's getting given a few of these GPUs that are going to be actually given to people who aren't going to use it for like cryptocurrency mining.
Yep.
Which is a big reason why a lot of it is out, and also the fact that we have like a silicon chip shortage doesn't exactly help.
Well, if I remember right, I think it's the 6800 XT. He currently has 275 of them that he's trying to work on not giving away, but selling at MSRP, mind you. So he's not upmarking these at all. So
yeah, and this is the big part of it, is that scalpers on the internet are selling these cards for obnoxiously bad prices.
Yes.
like here, let's just take a look at it right now. eBay.
Yeah, let's just take a quick look at this. It's
like
it's
here's a pretty high demand card right now. RTX 3080. Bam. RTX 3080 right now. Holy crap. This is a lot worse than I thought it was. Last time I looked at this was 1500. Whoa.
It's getting worse. Wow.
Why is a
Well, keep
3080
in mind,
2500?
This isn't what $800 card? 700.
This is supposed to be a card that no, let's
right?
look at what's the MSRP for this? MSRP RTX.
Most of them are between
3080.
$700 and $900. I remember right.
The MSRP is $700. People are selling these for almost 4 times the price, and they're able to get away with it because we have such a chip shortage right now. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like here's one that's in big demand right now, the RTX 3070. These are being sold for $1,500. This is supposed to be a $500 card. This is ridiculous. 3060 Ti, also selling for $1,500, and this is supposed to be an MSRP of like $360.
Yep.
This is ridiculous.
It's kind of sad, but
so
that's why I'm kind of glad Linus was able to step up and actually help out the community the way he is. So
yeah, because like he's using his influence to actually help people who are actually trying to get these products. Because like, you know, I know of certain like there are definitely a lot of PC like enthusiasts out there that are like, yo, I sold my GPU right before the 3000 series came out, and now I've been out for a GPU for like 7 months because they're outrageous.
yep.
And it's just crazy, you know what I mean? And like, I'm just very glad that Linus is taking a step here, and he's generally a YouTuber that I respect greatly. Like he's actually pretty good. He runs a good business, and you know,
I mean, he does do videos that sometimes aren't always right, or sometimes aren't as educational or a bit clickbaity, whatever you might disagree about it. This is something that is not easy to just do. It takes a lot of planning, and it takes a lot of him actually wanting to do it.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
It's a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for him.
Where's the meme image? Where is it?
Just look up Linus meme.
There we go.
Yes. There it is.
But yeah, good old Linus giving us gamers some hope. So yeah. And there's that for Heckin Tech Night. And to finish it off, we are going to take a look at this amazingly historic video by The Verge on how to build a pretty good gaming PC. And I saw this for... Did I hear gamer? Oh yes, gamers. Get ready, because this is the ultimate guide on how to build a PC 100%. And for the end of this stream, we are going to react to this amazing video that was historically uploaded in 2018. So are you ready, Nick?
As a pre-warning, please take this as comedy. Do not follow what's in this video.
Please.
You will.
There's a reason that this
kill
is
something.
This is a reason that
Possibly yourself.
There's a reason that this isn't a re-upload. Like, this is a terrible video, and I knew it was terrible, but last week I saw it for the first time, and I didn't know it was as terrible as it was. It is
bad.
terrible. Nick hasn't seen it since it happened, so...
I saw it the day it came out because of all the crap that happened with it, and it was probably worse than I even remember.
It's pretty bad. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Here we go. And I don't have volume coming out.
So a few years ago, TC, or Managing Editor, built a gaming desktop, but it's kind of out of date.
Also, one last thing. I feel very bad for the sponsor here.
That's true.
Just as a comment.
And it's definitely not going to
Poor
hold up to
Capital
Battlefield
One.
5. So let's build a new one. You can build a gaming desktop for around $1,000, but I want to go all out, so I spent around $2,000. PC like this is going to be able to play.
Dang, that won't even get you a 3080 now.
Won't
Most
even get you
games
a
at
GPU
ultra
at all.
settings. So, what do you need to build a desktop? Well, of course, first you need a table. Preferably not metal. If
Table.
The most essential PC part is a table.
You must have table.
All right, here we go.
If it's going to be metal, have an anti-static working surface layered on top of it, a thermal paste applicator, an Allen wrench, some tweezers to tighten up the wire.
Nick, tell me the amount of times that you have used an Allen wrench with a PC.
None.
0.
A single
0.
time.
Literally, you could put everything together with just a Phillips, like, plus sign, you know, like, screwdriver. And literally, you don't even need a thermal paste applicator. Like, what? What even is that? You just use the little
never
thing.
heard
And
of someone using that.
Why? And also, he's calling zip ties tweezers. Okay.
There's a Swiss Army knife, which hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver in it.
A Swiss Army knife that hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver.
Why would you use a Swiss Army? No. Swiss Army. Okay. If you do not have a screwdriver in your house,
why are you building a
wrong with
PC?
you. There is something wrong with you.
Why do you own a house?
I can do this. I can build a computer, but I need a Swiss Army knife with a Phillips head. It's like
that hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver.
Hopefully.
All right, let's go. We're only a minute in almost.
And last but not least, an anti-static bracelet, which is to protect you and the parts. These are the parts you're going to need, but more...
That's not an anti-static bracelet.
That is the best part in this entire video, because he is making you believe that a piece of rubber or silicone around your wrist is somehow going to prevent static from getting from your finger onto a PC component.
Like
What?
literally in 4th grade, I was part of a class that helped do a fundraiser for like raising money for like cancer research. And it was crazy because we raised like a whole crap ton of money. And one of the things is like if you donated $5, you got one of those silicone bracelets.
Yep.
So I would be more willing to believe that you donated money for cancer research than the fact that you're building a PC right now.
No comment on that.
More importantly, before we get there, we need to understand what these parts are doing and how they interact with one another. To better understand the parts that make up a desktop, let's try to understand them individually. The processor is like the computer's brain, a base of calculations that control everything the computer does. The motherboard is like the foundation, serving as a main structure for all other parts to be added to. It also allows the other parts to communicate with one another, which also makes it kind of like a nervous system. Graphics cards are responsible for rendering and processing visuals into what you see on screen. Our PC's power supply is of course channeling electricity, in that it adjusts and provides the right amount of energy to keep it running. Last but not least, RAM, or random access memory, and your hard drive are good examples of short-term and long-term memory, respectively. If you want to better understand what kind of computer to build, then first figure out what you want to use it for.
To be honest, those last 30 seconds is pretty good for a beginner PC person. Like, that's actually not bad.
Yeah, he dumbed it down probably a little too much.
But like if somebody's getting right into it, that's not terrible. It's about to get terrible.
Yeah, get prepared. Just get prepared.
ME Cakes 99. I like dumb.
You're gonna get plenty of dumb.
Yeah, but like this is gonna be like a dumbness amount of level that's below all people. Here we go.
A gamer might care more about a graphics card than, say, a video editor, who might want extra RAM to assist with editing large files. If you're building a budget build for video streaming, say under $1,000, you want to focus on parts, like a Core i5 or Core i3 processor, that require less energy. They'll be less powerful, but then you'll be able to scale back the cost of several other parts. And if you need...
Nick, do you have anything to say? I see your face down there.
I was just looking at the tape on the side when he was saying CPU. I was like, I'm like, what do you really need a tape with a computer?
Oh man.
help choosing the right parts for your build, there's sites like PCPartPicker.com that help show presets for which parts fit together, which sort of part conflicts you might have, and where to find deals.
PC Part Picker is actually a really good website and actually helps you balance out your build relatively well. It's just one thing that's actually really useful for mainly people who don't build PCs a lot is that PC Part Picker is not a store to buy things from. It's just to make sure that your parts are compatible so you can then buy those same parts in other places. So I would recommend PC Part Picker as a really good place to start.
Plus, the big advantage of it is you really can't cross components that won't work with each other. The website does warn you that stuff won't work.
Like if you use PC Part Picker, you're definitely going to get a PC that works if you assemble it correctly, which this guy is not about to.
Yeah, exactly.
On new parts. We have a lot of boxes and a lot of PC parts, so it's best you unbox them, isolate the parts that you really need, place items into the case, and make sure that they all fit, and then start working. And now we're really going to start building by adding them.
Whoa! Rewind. Make sure that they all fit. Let's turn that speed down. Let's turn that speed down.
What is he?
Look, he's trying to put in I don't know even what this is. And he's clearly struggling to fit it in the case.
And start working.
Kerklunk.
Is he putting the power supply in the wrong side?
I don't even know what he's trying to put in here.
No, that's the radiator. What is he doing?
He's trying to jam it in there.
Oh, really?
Let's turn this back up to normal speed.
Going to start building by adding the motherboard in.
Oh god, we're gonna start building. Oh god, I'm not ready. Nick, I'm not ready.
I'm not ready.
Some notes about installing motherboards: they're really delicate, you should be really careful with them, and screw in with confidence, but also don't screw in too hard, otherwise you could crack the board. I chose Asus's Z370 motherboard for two main reasons. One, it has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and also it has support for NVMe SSDs, meaning...
Yes, I sure love to buy a motherboard solely because it has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
is he... really fast
Okay, I thought he was about to forget to put in the I/O shield, but he didn't.
SSDs that are really easy to install. Pay close attention to the brace.
Do you see how many times he's struggling with this I/O shield here?
It's so bad.
You can get really fast SSDs that are really easy to install. Pay close attention to the brace that goes at the back of the computer. You always have to make sure that you really hammer it in, because there's no screw. It really just has to go outside of the case and clasp onto the frame.
Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm about to hammer in an I/O shield. Okay.
It's really easy to install. Gets out hammer.
Frame. And this is very important because otherwise you can't align the motherboard correctly with the holes. We're just going to start installing all 8 screws.
Wait a minute. For an ATX motherboard, wouldn't it be 9 screws?
No, 8. Some of them have a little standoff that doesn't go
Okay,
on.
I thought it was 9 for some reason.
Yeah, some of them don't have they have a little standoff.
So next we're going to install the RAM on the motherboard. I chose Corsair's 16GB Vengeance LED RAM for two main reasons. One, it has LEDs and we do like lights in our gaming desktops.
RGB.
RAM's
Let's go.
RAM's a bit early in this step, but okay.
I mean, just get everything in the motherboard, I guess, maybe.
Secondly, it's
I
pretty
mean, he
fast.
hasn't touched the CPU yet, though.
I mean, yeah, wait, I forgot. He hasn't put in the CPU. Okay. He's fine. He hasn't done anything super wrong yet.
No, not yet.
We do like lights in our gaming desktop.
And here, let me give you all a disclaimer here. Building a PC is fun, and building a PC is a fun experience. And if you ever get the chance to build a PC, please do. It's just the thing is that, like, a lot of PC people who are, like, into PCs a lot can get kind of gatekeepy and be like, oh, this is the only right way to do it. And to be honest, don't get, like, discouraged by them. It's just, there is a way to do it very, very wrong. And this guy happens to do it very, very wrong, but it's very hard to get this wrong. So if you ever do feel like you're going to build a PC at some point, just, I think you'll be fine. Just don't be like this guy.
Plus, there's always people willing to help, so
yeah,
don't ever be afraid to ask for help.
Mm-hmm. And don't be ashamed to ask for help because, you know, at the end, who's getting the sick machine? You are. All right, here we go.
Secondly, it's pretty fast RAM. It's 2666 megahertz, I believe. So it's pretty fast, and this motherboard supports that speed.
Fun fact, 2666 megahertz RAM is kind of slow for DDR4.
Very slow.
I would say it's very fast if it were DDR3, but
yeah,
DDR4, that's kind of slow. I mean, any motherboard will support that if it supports DDR4.
I'm running 3800 on my computer.
Damn.
Which is most important. Open the slots first and just aligning the stick with the middle of the strip, not with the end, and just lining that up with the logo. So once you hear that solid clasp and you don't see the gold connectors on the side anymore,
you can literally look in this footage at the footage that he is narrating over. He looks visibly confused.
Why? Because it's not snapping in.
It's like, why is this snapping in? And it's like he literally has it oriented wrong. Like, as you can see in this shot, it's oriented correctly, but if you go back,
aligning the stick with
this, it's oriented the wrong way.
Yes.
the middle of the strip, not with the end.
I never even
and just
noticed
lining
that
up
before.
with
That's
the logo.
bad.
So once you hear that solid clasp and you don't
why
see
isn't
the
it
gold
working?
connectors on the side anymore, that's when you know the RAM is in. Step 3, we're going to install the hard drive, or in this case, the NVMe SSD. I chose this format of solid state drive so that I could input it into the motherboard without having to worry about extra wires or putting it in a separate part of the case and just getting really messy. This is from Kingston, and it's 480 gigabytes, so it's not a lot, but you can always upgrade this and swap it out, and it's only held down by one screw and the latch, so it's really simple and really straightforward. Speed for gaming is important when it comes to a hard drive. You want files to write quickly and you want games to load quickly, so that's why it's best if you use an SSD. Okay, so step 4, we're going to install the graphics card. I chose PNY's GTX 1080, which is overclocked. And so it's a pretty easy installation. You're just going to find the gold connector.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I just realized he hasn't installed the CPU yet. Why the hell is he talking about installing the graphics card? What?
Graphics card.
He knows he has to like take it out to put the CPU in and the CPU cooler, right? He's gonna put it in and immediately take it back out.
All right.
And you're gonna line this bracket with the back end bracket of your PC case. Now, which lane you choose depends entirely on what other parts you're gonna put in the system. I'm just gonna pick the top one because the SSD is at the bottom.
Where you put it in does matter, though. He's kind of like putting it in wherever aesthetically, but like to be honest, like you want to put it in the most like topmost spot because that'll give you the most bandwidth when you're building a PC with your PCI Express lanes.
Yeah, especially with mini or micro ATX or even the smaller boards. Most of the time, the the full lane goes directly to the CPU, while other lanes actually go directly to the chipsets.
Yeah.
So you're actually going through another thing, and that adds latency. You can actually get less frames if you don't go on the top slot.
I mean, you know what? This freaking PC build. Okay.
And I don't want to cover it. I just think it looks nice. Click down. Take your remaining brackets.
Did you hear that sound?
Ooh.
Let's click down the graphics card.
Click down.
It's just. Any comments, Nick?
None. It's just sad.
Take your remaining brackets and just put them in the spots that you haven't used. You don't have to screw these in. They get bolted down by the back-end bracket. And your GPU is installed. Power supply time. And make sure
where is the CPU? Has he mentioned the CPU?
No, the CPU has not been mentioned yet.
What?
850 watt power supply because I need enough headroom for ray tracing GPUs when they come out, and I don't want to have to upgrade it again. So all you have to do is take the brick and make sure that you align it with these little insulating.
Did you just hear him just like clunking the power supply into all the other parts on the table?
All you have to do is take the brick and make sure that you align it with
It's bad.
these little insulating pads so the power supply doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest of the system.
Let's hear that again.
So all you have to do is take the brick and make sure that you align it with these little insulating pads so the power supply doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest of the system.
If you don't put those rubber pads in your PC, it will short circuit.
You can short your computer by grounding it properly. I give up.
And we're back.
And we're back.
We're fine and not dying on the inside. Let's go.
Oh.
So just take it in, slide it in nice and easy until you have a snug fit, and then shift it to the...
Pretty sure that's not how you install a power supply, but...
Please no.
back and make sure it's right up against the frame. Now you just take the required screws and you tighten and screw in. So next step, we're going to install the CPU core. In this case, it's going to go on the top end of the case.
He's installing the CPU cooler, but has not mentioned the CPU.
Wait, yeah, I got nothing. Yeah. No comment on that.
And we're just going to have the hose hang out for a little while until we install the processor, which is going to come a little later. Always be sure to try to place it in the system first before you install it, because you can see it takes up a lot of space. But in this case, no pun intended, it fits in perfectly.
Don't you love how he's literally letting like this drag all over the table, even though usually a lot of these AIOs have like pre-applied thermal paste you're probably going to get all over your table?
Oh, that's right. That's a Corsair cooler. It has pre-applied thermal paste.
We're fine.
Oh.
Now, I got to go back. Did we miss him putting in the CPU?
No, he has not put in the CPU yet.
So it's best you unbox them.
No, he has not put in the CPU yet.
The
I know
boards,
100%.
they're really delicate. You should be really careful with them. And screw in with confidence, but also don't screw in too hard, otherwise you could crack the board. I chose Asus's Z370 motherboard for two main reasons.
I love that line. Screw in with confidence, but don't screw in too hard.
You can see that there's no CPU in there. Like, when did he...
One, it has built-in Wi-Fi.
He does not install it yet.
You always have
he
to
has
make sure
not gotten to that point.
motherboard.
Is it just gonna, like, appear? Like, in the case?
No, he's going to do it, I guess. But he hasn't got there yet.
What about... But he's putting in the cooler.
I know, but he hasn't put in the processor yet.
No pun intended. It fits in perfectly. And we're gonna start screwing it in, and so there's nothing.
Don't you love how you have this super loud and annoying like Minecraft tutorial music in the background? Like, hey guys, this is how you're going to create an elytra.
This is how you create a TNT launcher.
Nothing special about this screwing in process. They're just really long screws because they go through the entire frame of the cooler, and they take forever.
So... he's just screwing in the radiator.
Ooh, he is so lucky that modern radiators, like they used to be the case that the screw holes actually had the water running directly underneath them. So when you screwed in too far, it would go directly into the radiator and would just leak all over the place.
How fast do you fly with the elytra? Nick has arrived in the chat.
I don't know. Maybe you should go look up a YouTube video on it. No idea.
But the thing is with these modern radiators, it's supposed to be so you have the fans already on them. He does not have the fans on his radiator. That's why the screws are super long, so the fans attach to them also. He's just screwing in the radiator and letting the rest of the screw just go right through it without the fans.
It's literally screwing into the fans. Like, he got lucky that the modern ones like don't go into the tubes. He very easily could have just destroyed his entire PC the first time he turned it on.
Oh man.
So next up, cables. Every power supply is going to come with a big bag of Velcro cables. It's kind of...
Correction, only modular and semi-modular. Not every power supply comes with cables. Sometimes they're just attached.
Kind of daunting at first, so you always have to find the ones that are going to fit. In this case, you need to match those cables with the correct descriptions on the power supply. Next step is we're connecting the power supply to the motherboard with a 24-pin cable. We're just matching that cable from the motherboard, threading it through the back, and attaching the 24-pin header to the power supply so that
look at that cable management.
we can have one of the connections complete. The next few additions will be for the GPU, for any specific ports that the case has, for any lighting that the case has, the CPU cooler, anything else really. We're installing the CPU.
Finally!
He's finally doing it.
Why is the CPU the last thing you're installing?
It's the first thing you install.
The heart of the computer, or the brain, depending on how you look at it. So to do this, we're just going to remove the plastic covering that they put on the motherboard. We're just going to take this little plastic part out. We'll just toss that out of here.
You want to know what's wrong about that right there? Let's replay that again right here.
We're just gonna toss that out of here.
Wait, did he just rip that out?
See that plastic piece right there? You need to keep that. If your CPU is dead, or if your CPU goes wrong in your system, how are you going to return it with your warranty? With that plastic piece.
Yeah, that's true. You have to have the plastic piece.
And this is like an Intel thing, but like, what?
And he didn't even open the thing to take it out. He literally ripped the piece of plastic off from the top without opening the lever.
Oof.
Yeah.
Just throw it out. Just,
Just toss that out of here. And now we have an exposed CPU holder, or rather slot, on the motherboard. And we're going to use the CPU applicator. This is a special little part that not everyone may get, but this motherboard that we got from ASUS definitely does have. It's called a CPU installation tool. It makes it really useful if you want...
CPU applicator. Well, I got a CPU applicator right here. Applicate your CPU real freaking quick. Just... CPU applicate this. Okay, my camera still works. Woo! All right, let's go.
To install a Core i7 hexa-core CPU. Yeah, we've got one, and it's an 8th generation chip, and it's ready to go, and it supports overclocking.
Yeah, we got this commonly available CPU. Yes, we've got it.
It's not a Ryzen 5900X.
So what having this little installer does for you is it's basically a brace that you can apply right to the CPU and light it up with the triangles that you'll see on the bottom left corners. And this will make it easier for us to apply it to the motherboard.
I love how, like, we're watching this, like, very crappy, like, build in the background here. And, like, literally, like... literally in the background, you just, like, hear, like, this random dubstep crap in the background of just, like, where's Windows Media Player? Come on. Nope, Windows Media Player isn't going to work. You just, like, here's how to build a PC, and then in the background you just have, like, this is how you install a CPU after you install everything else. Oh, man.
Board, and then apply thermal paste, and then apply a CPU cooler on top. And we're just going to carefully lean it down into the system and make sure that everything lines up, and we're going to clasp down on it, and we'll be good to go. So we're about to apply thermal paste to the CPU. Every CPU cooler actually comes with a bit of thermal paste already neatly applied in a circle around it, but it's usually not enough. It's good, essentially, PC building practice to have a little bit extra and layer it on top of the CPU.
It's usually not enough.
The final portion is to add the CPU.
I don't know. It looks like it was plenty. I don't know why you're adding a crap ton more.
That is how you cover your entire CPU in thermal paste.
Cooler to the top end of the processor. So you're going to see that there are 4 brackets, or rather like screws in here with brackets and holders right here. And they're going to keep the cooler raised off the processor, but it's also going to be close enough to actually physically come in contact with it. Like basically
hear that line real quick.
Here with brackets and holders right here. And they're going to keep the cooler raised off the processor, but it's also going to be close enough to actually physically come in contact with it. Like basically keep it cool.
So we're gonna make it so our CPU cooler is not touching our CPU, but also touching the CPU. So it's actually in physical contact, but it's not touching the CPU. Even though contact is what's allowing it to be cooled, but
I don't know at this point, to be honest.
Take thumb screws like this and just screw them on. So now that our internals are done, we're going to put all the panels back on, which is the top glass, side glass, front glass, and of course the back panel where all of this fun stuff is happening. So we fully built the PC, everything's put together, and we got to the post screen. So what's...
We got to the post screen. He somehow got that computer to post. We did it. Probably won't be for long, but he got it posting.
That thing's gonna crash.
Doctor, you want the sound of defeat?
What's next? Well, you need a USB flash drive with your Windows installation media on it, and of course a license key. So I plugged that up, installed Windows in a couple of minutes, installed a bunch of drivers, and now we have a fully functioning gaming PC ready to run some games. Right now I've got Armor 3 running at maximum settings, native resolution, which is 1080p HD, and it's running pretty smoothly. Like,
nice, we can run Flight Simulator.
FPS, and this is normally like a very intensive game
One
to
of the
run.
easiest games
and it's
to
still
run.
doing a pretty good job. So right now I'm playing League of Legends. It's one of my favorite games. I'm actually playing against a bot, and
literally League of Legends is meant to run on a potato.
That's the whole point of the game.
Just so anybody can get into it reliably. It's meant to run on a potato.
I'm distracted, so I'm not actually doing so well. But otherwise, like, this is pretty much what you would see me do on a gaming computer. Test stuff out, and hopefully have really high frame rates like I am right now.
My favorite game. Yes, on my gaming PC, I don't actually game. I just test out bunches of games in hopes that it goes to a good frame rate. Plays with bots, my favorite game. Yeah, Doctor, you what?
Yeah.
Sounds like a fake gamer. I don't know, but that seems pretty sus.
Sus.
This is the closest thing I have to a soundboard, so I'm going to utilize it. Oh, man.
I'm averaging 120 FPS, and that's only because I've actually locked the game to that frame rate, because I can get around 300 FPS.
Yep, we are really watching
on
this video right now. It's fantastic.
So, yeah, this is how we test our gaming PC. We actively limit the amount of frames it's able to output.
Yeah, turn on V. Good to go. That's how you benchmark, right?
maximum settings.
So what if a
which
30
is a little bit
has 60
absurd,
FPS
and you don't.
1660 has 60 FPS? It must mean that they're the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. I have a 750 Ti doing the same as a 3090.
Exactly.
Yeah. All graphics cards are the same. It's a scam.
Yep.
I don't really need that, so I've locked it. Building a gaming desktop has been a great experience. I'm able to max out a lot of my favorite titles, and I'll be able to play a lot of upcoming titles like Battlefield 5 and Cyberpunk 2077 without worrying too much about the parts I have. When ray tracing GPUs come out, for example, I'll be able to upgrade without having to buy a completely new system.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Imagine being able to buy a ray trace capable GPU right now.
Imagine being able to run Cyberpunk 2077 at all.
Imagine being able to play Cyberpunk 2077.
Exactly.
And if
Not
I
gonna
have a
happen.
problem down the line, I can always just swap out a part and have it serviced rather than losing my whole computer. And of course now we also have a computer to test and benchmark games here at The Verge.
Do you say benchmark games?
So that was a PC build. All right, and thanks everybody for joining us on our first episode of Heckin Tech Night. We'll be back on May 10th with more amazing tech news and more amazing tech random stuff. And we'll see you on Wednesday for some Half-Life, next Monday for some middies, and then we're going to play some more games that next Wednesday, and then there'll be the next Heckin Tech Night. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks, Dr. You What, for the gamer moment. Thank you, Nickhasarrived, for coming on, and we'll see you guys next time. That's how you build a PC. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.